Greetings again, it's David Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor. Today we're going to talk about something that I had a guy in a ride-along with me last week brought up. I thought it was a pretty good point he made, or question about, and it specifically was about what do you do and how do you learn your carrier contracts the fastest and the quickest so that you're competent when you get out in the field. So there's a couple of different things you got to know, I think, when you get started with your contracts. And there's a couple of different ways in which you've got to learn how to do them. Take some time, just like anything else administratively. It's another challenge in this business is to not just acclimate yourself to one company, but as an independent agent, you got to do 6 to 12 in many cases more as you get more advanced in the final expense business. Okay, so the two parts here. So first of all, you of course have to learn your applications from an administrative standpoint. How do the companies like them filled out? Some of them like all of them filled out. Some of them like certain sections only filled out, and others only when the circumstances make sense for that particular section to be filled out. You got to know where you sign the applications at. Big problem new guys have is they don't get all the signatures done. Okay, so you got to take time, find the signatures, see where you sign off on, and if anything kind of looks screwy looking, you take time to talk to your upline, your guy above you, to help you with the process of doing the contracting right. Now, so the other aspect of this is the underwriting side. And this is the most detailed and confusing of learning your carriers. And so this process is where each carrier, of course, has their health questions. Most of them follow the same 60 to 80% of the knockout issues and possible complications. But it's that 20 to 40% that really is what's difficult. And it takes some time to learn which carrier is okay with certain things and enough of a in-the-trenches experience before you learn on the fly where something's going to go and where it may not go. So the first way that you learn all of this, of course, is just through the rudimentary task of reading and completing the applications on the fly, on a sample basis. Maybe doing an application on your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, parents, anybody that would be willing to kind of go along with the process. Heck, you don't even really need to have somebody there to underwrite or to write it on. You could just make up Joe Blow from Cincinnati, Ohio, and use him as your, sample case. But the point is it really helps a lot in the beginning to run through your core 2 or 3 carriers 2 or 3 times, completely fulfilling the application so that you can get a feel of doing it once, then going back over it with a fine-tooth comb and say, hey, I forgot this signature on the payer form, or I forgot the HIPAA authorization form signature, that kind of thing. That helps prevent mistakes that would otherwise occur when you're on the field, which leads us to the second point. The reality of this job is there's a infinite amount of outcomes that you could run into in an underwriting situation. We can only plan so well when it comes to underwriting before we just have to kind of go with the flow. And the only way you can go with the flow in this business to really learn your carriers is by getting out there and writing business. I had a guy one time that was working with me, and he was an extreme perfectionist. The guy wanted answers to absolutely everything, so much that he waited 8 weeks. So, the average guy wants to get out there within 2 or 3 weeks and start working. This dude wanted to go and know everything and take 2 months and 1 hour to 2 hours a day calling me, talking minutia and being overly protective. The guy, of course, ended up failing out because he just couldn't handle the fact that there's a bit of uncertainty when it comes to sales. And when it comes to this business, you just have to go with it and see what happens. Anyways, point is you can't just sit here and expect to learn this stuff in the comfort of your own home. Biggest learning, as it's true with any business, is actually interacting with your customers, your prospects, and experiencing the things you can't anticipate and learning how to adapt and to train around that so that you know how to manage it. So in conclusion, maybe the first thing I miss is have a core 2 or 3 carriers that you spend most of your time with. Know those back and forth like the back of your hand. Don't just start with one carrier, start with 2 or 3. But don't go into 5, 10, 15 of them. You're going to just add more stress on that you don't necessarily need. The other aspect is to take time to run through the applications yourself, like a dry run, on people you know. If you don't, just do it on an imaginary person. Fact check it, show it to your boss, show it to your upline manager to give you some kind of perspective on, hey, did I miss anything, that kind of thing. And then lastly, the absolutely best way is just to get out there, run the appointment so that you utilize the underwriting questions, the underwriting guides, the prescription check history, and you really put all that into action, because that's what makes a difference. One of the things that I do in my program that has helped is I have filmed videos covering the carriers and their specific applications. So when somebody comes aboard, I plug them into a video where I actually walk them through the application from top to bottom, in the combination of talking why I would write them and why they're a good carrier in certain conditions and not in others, so that you get a full perspective on, from a academic, I guess, beginning standpoint, where would you go and why would you want to use these particular carriers. So that's it. Hope that makes sense. This is David Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Check it out. And if you haven't checked out my website, you know where to go, feagentmentor.com. Lots of great articles, great videos, lots of great content, and of course subscribe to my YouTube page too, so when I do release new videos, you'll be the first to check them out. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Y'all take care. Thanks.